And folks, it's your boy. If y'all went to Spell House, Morehouse Spellman, then y'all know I have the legendary Ross, aka
Yes, sir.
Leonard Ross. What's going on, brother?
Man, I can't call it brother. I can't call it man.
What you out there doing, man? Staying safe out here?
Yeah, man. Just trying to keep my head down and keep working, man, and keeping the family safe, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I know exactly what you mean. We trying to make it the best way we can, man. It's an ever-changing world right now. And
Yeah.
every day
And,
is something different.
Everything is changing. Every day is something different, man. So, I just try to keep my head down, man, keep God first, and just keep grinding, man, because it's all going to work out. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, that's all you can do. Day by day, stay prayerful and thank God for your blessings. Day by day. That's pretty much what it
Day
is.
by day. Always grateful, man. Always grateful.
Hey, man, all I can say is, bro, you have a wonderful testament. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, come from, I can't say humble beginnings. 'Cause you know what I'm saying, I can't say that. But you actually have come from, you know what I'm saying, great, you know what I'm saying, background, you know what I'm saying, your family in Tennessee to make your way to Atlanta, to matriculate, you like that word, to matriculate through Morehouse.
Using all them syllables.
Exactly. And to basically, you know what I'm saying, shape yourself and live that life that you're supposed to live. You know what I mean? And that's what excites me, man, about your story. You know what I mean?
Man, well, I appreciate it, man. It's a long way from Chattanooga, Tennessee, man. But you know what? I'm just a kid with a dream, man. I've always been dreaming my whole life, man. And so, and it's just a testament, man, to trusting God, man, and dreaming and then waking up and doing what you got to do to make it happen. So I'm still here and I'm blessed, brother. I'm grateful.
Man, who you telling, bro? I think about it all the time, man. I think about it all the time. And you know what I'm saying, you're a father raising two daughters, right?
Yes, sir. 12 and 10, man. They keep me young and they keep me on my toes.
Wow. Honorable, brother. Honorable. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, a lot of times we say that we are cursed. So I'm not going to talk about your Morehouse history, but they always say, bro, that the wild boys end up with daughters.
You know what? And I like to say it another way. I like to say God has a sense of humor. God has got a sense of humor, and he be telling jokes. You know what I mean? So but honestly, man, I'm blessed, man. My daughters, they're great kids, man, and I think back to all the times, man, in the dorm room. Most people don't know, we went in Thurman Hall together, second floor.
Straight across the hall, bro.
Straight across the hall, man. And
look right out the door like, okay.
Right, exactly. With the belt on the door. You know what I mean?
The belt on the door.
The belt on the door, man. But, man, I've been knowing you since I had braces and I had a Bobby Brown haircut with that high right, low left. You know what I mean? So, I've been knowing you a long time, before the gray hair, before the kids, man, before the family. So this is cool, man. I love what you're doing, man. You've always been doing this, man. You always had your hand in that entrepreneurial world, man. Always doing your own thing, man. And I commend you, brother. I mean, I watched you for a long time, man. Before computers was popular, before everybody knew about all this online social media and all that, you were always into that, man. So I'm not surprised that you're successful, that you're doing as well as you are, man. So yeah, man, I'm happy to be in your company as an entrepreneur now. So yeah.
Hey, man, they say, planting seeds in our kids. So my father sent me down to Morehouse with my own personal PC. I think it was like 64 megabytes was the hard drive then. You know what I mean? Real small hard drive in today's standards. But I had a hard drive. Most other computers, you had to put a floppy in, you know what I'm saying, to put your stuff in and out.
Right.
But I had a hard drive PC. So he got this TRS 80 from Radio Shack. It's like, hey, you need this computer to do your work. Bro, that computer, man, I'm telling you, it saved me. I had to go to no labs. I was able to do that. And it pretty much, like you said, planted a seed in my future. Now I do IT security as a day job, but hey, man, it was seeds planted.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny because now I'm doing the same thing with my daughters because they see me every single day in here working on my business, you know.
That's right.
When they go to bed at night, I'm in here, you know, at the table or in the lab, you know, pressing up shirts. And when they wake up in the morning, that's the same place I'm at. You know, I've already meditated. I've already gone for a run, come back, and I'm working. And so I want to plant the seed in them and just let them know, you know, if you have a dream or something you want to do, it's up to you. You know, it don't matter what anybody else say or anybody else think. It's up to you. And so I'm subconsciously, you know, planting that seed, you know, into them. So yeah, man, it's a rite of passage. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's start from the top here. Graduated from Morehouse. You were 94, 95, right?
Yes, sir.
So after leaving Morehouse, tell me a little bit about how you even got into this marketing thing. I know the story, but I want the world to hear the story. Because I know the story, because I was there with you, you know what I'm saying? I helped with some of the materials and things, but let me hear this story, bro.
Absolutely, man. So my journey started at Morehouse. And at the end of Morehouse, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go into the corporate world. I knew that wasn't for me. And I knew the 96 Olympics were coming up.
Yep.
So my man, A Short, shout out to A Short, Lemonhead and Red.
Yes, sir.
Yep. A Short, man, we started Lemonhead and Red. It was our production company. And we started making T-shirts for the 96 Olympics. And I'll never forget it. I didn't know anything about computer, graphic design, or nothing. We were sitting at the kitchen table, drawing with a ruler and colored pencil, drawing designs. And now I think back to how rudimentary that was, you know, just to try and figure it out. I didn't even know what I was doing, but we had someone that wanted us to make shirts for gymnastics, and we made shirts for them, and we got our first little contract. And you know, for me, that was my first, you know, venture into being an entrepreneur. Right. And they sure sold the hell out of them T-shirts at the Olympics, brother. We were everywhere, and you know, doing that, they gave me confidence, and so we started throwing parties. Yep. And so back in Chattanooga, nothing was happening at all. And so A Short and I went up, and we went to this country western nightclub. No blacks had ever really been in there. And we took it off night, which was a Sunday. We were like, hey, give us a Sunday. We want to come in here and start doing parties. And I'll never forget it. We inked our first deal, and it did not pop for the first couple weeks. I mean, I lost my back. I mean, I had to call my mama to bring me some money down to the club so I could pay this dude so I could leave. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because my dad kept saying, you know, son, you need to get a job. You need to get a job. And I was like, this is my job. And, you know, my dad's old school. And, you know, Dad he's not hearing that. He's like, you need to put that suit on and take that Morehouse and then go make something out of it. But that wasn't my path. And so A Short and I, you know, bogged down, and probably by week 3 or 4, you know, we broke even. And after that, it just took off. You know, 'cause I knew Chattanooga like the back of my hand. That was my stomping ground. And so we went from throwing parties to doing music showcases. DJ Trauma, DJ Mars. This is before they was, you know, they was big time. They big time. I remember. Now, you know. Yeah. Sirius B, you know, Dana. Nick, you know, the crew, India RE. We hooked up with Will G. You know, Will G did Chocolate Soul.
Chocolate Soul.
And Chocolate Soul, yes, sir. We did Slick Rick, you know. So we were doing parties and showcases, and there was a boat in Chattanooga, the Southern Belle, and they do parties on this boat, a 3-level boat that goes down Tennessee River. And I'll never forget, he's short, said, well, hey, why don't we throw a party on the boat? And I was like, the boat? How are we going to get people there? So we rented out buses from Atlanta, and we took them down to Chattanooga. We filled up 3 buses. And obviously, with the people from Chattanooga, we sold it out. And we did that 2 or 3 times. And, I mean, we took off. And then from there, we threw parties in Cancun. Back in the day, there was this thing called Cancun All-Star Fiesta.
Yes.
Puff and Jay-Z, they did all the parties over there. And so we threw parties to Cancun.
Okay.
We were filling up, half of an airplane just with our partners and our homies,
Yes.
And so that started, and then we did the Black Ski Summit. And so Jamaica, and one day somebody came along, and he was like, "Hey, we got this contract for the U.S. Army doing marketing for them," and it was really like a soft sell for the Army. They wanted people that looked like their target demo to come in and talk to them. They wanted people with the tattoos, that looked like the kids that were in these high schools around the country. And they asked us, could we do the same thing that we were doing for Lemonhead and Red for the U.S. Army? And, I was just like, y'all cutting the check for sure. Cut the check. So they cut the check. And so he short line, they cut it. And I'll never forget, I bought me a little whip. I went to the little auction, bought me a little whip, So I was doing my thing, man. But this job, this brother, he owned this marketing agency, and he was actually with Morehouse.
Okay.
And it was his agency. And so Bob McNeil,
okay,
Images USA was the name of the company. And so they hired us. And so we put Lemonhead and Red on the shelf, for a consistent paycheck. And they wanted us to drive around the country in an H1 Hummer and a dually with a flight simulator on the back and a rock wall. And they wanted us to talk to high school juniors and seniors, less about the Army, but more about, pull up your pants. You know what I'm saying? Like get a haircut, like get out of your mom and dad's house, and go get a job. It was kind of a soft sell, and we were, civilian recruiters for the U.S. Army.
Wow.
And, that changed my life, man, because I had never gotten up in front of, 400 juniors and seniors at a high school to tell my story and to encourage them,
right,
to want to do better.
Right.
And so as I looked at those kids, I was really looking at myself, because I remember when the recruiters would come to my high school and try and talk people into going to the Army or Navy or one of the armed forces. But so I remembered that. And so we did that. And, we went to 47, 48 states. I mean, dragging all this equipment and rock walls. I mean, we did that. I've been to Fargo, North Dakota 3 times. I've been to Delaware. I've been to Maine. I've been to Nebraska. I've been to all these places, And so we did that. And the Army was impressed, and we were getting 32,000 leads a year for the U.S. Army, and we did this for a while, and and I just I was having fun, to be honest with you, Keith.
Yeah.
I mean, that per diem life is nice. And don't trip, that per diem life, that life is nice, and we did that, man, for 4 years.
Wow.
And then I got a promotion. They asked me would I move to New York and would I manage tours for them. And so, yeah, man, they said a move. I thought I was gonna have to drive a U-Haul up there. They was like, "No, bro,
we
we're
got
gonna fill a truck." You're right. So I was like, "Man, running." And it was funny because taking risks was one of the things that I have. That I've used to kind of help propel me to where I am today,
Bro,
not really knowing, what was going to happen, but it was less about who I knew and less about what I didn't know, but it was more about what I knew. I knew I believed in myself. I got that from my pop. I've always had a strong sense of self-belief and self-worth. And that was instilled, back in Chattown a long time ago. And so I always knew that I could figure it out. You give me 2 nickels, buddy, I'm gonna figure it out. And so, I did. And so I moved to New York. I started managing the tours. And before long, they were like, hey, we got this other tour coming up called And One.
Yep. Wow.
And One mixtape, the basketball tour. And you run this. So they threw that on my plate.
Wow.
Along with a little bit more bread. They put some more bread in there. I was like, run it. So 35 cities. So I was the tour manager for that, for the U.S. Army and One. So I got a chance to meet all the players, Hot Sauce, Professor, all the boys. So we did that for 2 years. And all this time, man, I was just networking. That's one thing I learned at Morehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, you can attest to this.
Yep.
It's networking. I always got a pen in my pocket. I always kept a pen in my pocket. To this day, right now, while I'm talking to you, I got a pen in my pocket. You never know when you're going to need it to write something down or if you're going to meet somebody. But yeah, so I did that, and from there, more tours, and I did that for the next 6 years. I was in New York and Harlem. Shout out to Harlem. I'm a Harlem kid, man. Lived in Spanish Harlem for 6 years. It was probably one of the best things I ever did in my life, man. Being a country boy from Chat and moving to New York to the city, man. I was that country boy,
Man, that's awesome.
And they showed me love, man. They showed me a lot of love, man. I never had no problems. Everybody was cool, man, because everybody was about their dollar. Nobody had time to be playing around up there because, as you know, everything is, hella expensive. And so I did that for the next 6 years. Then moved back down south and got a job doing word-of-mouth marketing.
Yep.
And so during my tenure with the U.S. Army, it was very directed. They hand you something, and that's the mission. They want you to go out, and they want you to execute against that.
Right.
And if it didn't work out, I had to go to Fort Knox many a times and explain why we didn't meet a mission, why we didn't accomplish the goal. And that ain't a good feeling, brother. That's not a good feeling to have to go there and explain, why you didn't meet mission. And so a lot of times there were things that they were asking me to do, and in my mind, I'm like, I hear where the rubber meets the road. That's not how it works. But obviously, they don't want to hear that. And
Right.
so I knew that it was something different. I was like, man, it's got to be something else different in this marketing game. And so I learned about word of mouth marketing, and so did some research. And one of the largest word of mouth marketing agency in the world is here in Decatur, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so I went in and just talked to them. And I actually found them, called them up, and told them I wanted to have a conversation with them and talk to them. Again, that confidence, and I really didn't think that he would give me a job, but he had an opening as a director of operations. And so I took the position. And, all those years of driving around the country, delivering assets, managing staff, and all of that came into play. And I utilized that skill set and excelled at the director of operations position. And in 4 years, I was promoted to the senior VP of operations.
Bro.
Man.
And the crazy part about that, because my wife's in marketing, she's now a project manager, but she went through social media strategists and social media first coordinator and strategist and whatever she did, but she kind of moved up to project manager at a certain point. But I just remember the conversation. I don't remember how I got the Fizz marketing book, but I had a book. I don't remember. She gave it to me. You gave it to me. I don't remember how I got it, but somehow the conversation came up where she's like, Leonard Ross? I was like, yeah. Cause I don't know, all of a sudden you became legendary or whatever, but you know, she vetted through all the different agencies and had relationships with the different agencies she worked for Zepp for a while, she works for Kimberly Clark, but you know, she's always been in the marketing world and she know the different agencies and different things. So I was like, damn, Leonard became a man out here. So my wife telling me about you. I'm like, what?
And you know what's funny? The crazy part, man, I was just having fun, Keisha. My goal or my intention was not to move up the ladder or to try to be this or get to this position. I was just having fun, man. And I mean, as you know, I mean, at Morehouse, all I did at Morehouse was have fun. A little bit too much, but that's all I was really doing, man, was having fun. And I just stumbled upon this, man, just networking, putting myself out there.
Let's take this to reality. In reality, okay, you said you had too much fun, but what you did actually lined up for who you were going to become. You feel me? Because you ain't afraid to talk nobody. You was never afraid of confidence. You know what I mean? Your network was huge, and
right.
It just, you know what I'm saying, something paid off to something that paid off to something that paid off to something else. And that's the way the world works.
Absolutely.
So we say, okay, maybe I socialized too much. All right, maybe you could have had a 4.0. Maybe I could have had a 4.0.
Yeah.
But for what we did, for who we met, for our path, it set our future. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's funny, you know, just to think about how far I come, because I don't think I ever really went back and, you know, and tried to put a strategy together or said, I'm going to do this. You know, I just followed my passion, followed my heart. And if I was passionate about something, I'm willing to work for it. And to me, to be honest with you, it wasn't really work. You know, you hear people say,
right,
you know, if you're doing what you love, you don't really work. I mean, that sounds so cliche-ish, but it's really true.
It's really true.
Because I was having fun the whole time. I'm still having fun. And so it makes sense.
It makes sense.
It definitely makes sense, man.
So before we go into your new venture, tell me in your words the key, because we're going to go into the new venture, because that's what I want folks to hear is a new venture. But marketing for you seems like it comes easy. Like you were saying, it's something you like to do. So to you, what is the key, and just your words, you don't have to be an official dictionary definition of it, but to you, what is marketing?
Marketing is being authentic, man. It's being authentic. I have never pushed something that I did not believe in.
Wow.
I mean, you got to be true to yourself. You got to be true to all this out here. People out here selling you stuff, just working something for a job. Like, no, man, you got to believe in it. So my dad was in the Navy, right?
Yep.
And my dad, he learned discipline in the Navy. Okay. He was on that discipline real bad. That's one of the reasons I went to Morehouse. I was just trying to wake my pop. I'm like, dude, please get your foot off my neck, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so Pop learned the discipline. But when I got to Morehouse, man, all those lessons, all those times that he was just in my ear, I would need all those lessons and more to be able to navigate my path. And even when I was, doing the thing with the Army, I wouldn't join the Army. But I saw the discipline. I saw what it gave my pops, and I saw what he imparted that wisdom with me. And so I believed in it. I saw a lot of brothers out there with the pants hanging out, just looking crazy, talking, like not trying, not wanting to try.
Right.
Thinking it was cool. And for me, I really wanted to try and help in whatever capacity I could help. Okay. If that's encouraging you to pull your pants up, to go get a job, to get out your mom and daddy's house, to try something, that's what I was going to do. And so for me, it was being authentic to myself. And I think one of the other big things that I learned, man, was setting my intention. Yeah. when you set your intention on something, that's what will materialize.
Wow.
And so, yeah, with this new venture, Five Stripes merch, I didn't set out to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Atlanta United game. You ever been to Atlanta United game, soccer game?
I haven't, but I heard it's all that.
Bruh, you tripping. Bruh. Bruh, the fans are so wild. They are rowdy and proud. They call themselves rowdy and proud, and they are. And just my personality, as soon as I saw that, I was like, sign me up. Oh, my goodness. It's a good time.
Wow.
And it's like a community. It's like a family.
Okay.
And so went to my first game. I mean, and it's so crazy. So when Atlanta United scores over in the supporter section, they throw beer. It's like beer showers. Everybody throws their drink up in the air. And it was just so crunk. And I was just like, yes. I was like, these my folk right here. They're my folk. So I was like, man, let me go get me a shirt. I was like, I want a shirt right now. I done drank the Kool-Aid. I'm all in. And so I went to go get a shirt. And I was like, no, I don't want this. I'm like, man, take me to the back, man. Where's the dope merch? Where's the fresh merch? I'm seeing some stuff in Walmart, but I'm seeing everybody pretty much with the same shirt
thing
on. So I was like, man, this is kind of lame. I went to the Amazon. I went to the Etsy. I went on all those social media sites looking for a dope shirt. And so I didn't see anything. And I was a little frustrated. And I was like, am I tripping? Like, how come nobody tell me where to get the shirt? Like, because I don't want the same thing that I see, some crazy looking dude, with this lame shirt. I was like, no, I don't want that. Me and him are not together. I want something different. Yeah. And so I didn't see anything. And so I kept looking. And so the more I kind of dug into it, the nickname for the team is called Five Stripes. That's the nickname for the team. I thought that was a pretty cool name. And I was like, well, can I get a Five Stripe shirt? And no one sold Five Stripe shirts. No one. And so talked to one of my buddies. He's a soccer coach. And so we were talking. And so some told me to go look up Five Stripes.
Okay.
I wanted to see if they had trademarked. Nobody at Atlanta United had trademarked the name Five Stripes.
Wow.
I could not believe it. I was shocked. I was like, huh? No one trademarked it. So guess what?
What?
You slip partner with and trademark Five Stripes.
The Five Stripes. Wow.
Five Stripes. I wouldn't trademark his name. And being in the marketing world, I knew that if I trademarked the name and I owned it, I knew I could build a brand around it. And everybody knew them as Five Stripes. So that's when I started. And so, I started out, making up my own little shirts, going to buy shirts. Me and my kids, we sit down at the table. And it's funny because it took me back to my Morehouse days when me and A Short were at the kitchen table with scissors and colored pencils. Fast forward, 30 years later, I'm sitting at the table with my kids, cutting out designs, making up shirts.
Yo, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy, dog?
That is absolutely crazy.
That's crazy.
That's full circle, bro.
Full circle. And so that's what we did. And another thing was that this was something I could do with my kids. So they could be a part of the process, too. So this wasn't just dad doing it. So they got ideas. And my oldest, she's a fashionista, self-proclaimed. And so, I wanted to definitely get her input on it. And so we started making shirts. And, the first 2 or 3, they were a little janky, but, you got to start somewhere. Yeah. And so, probably the second or third round, we go to the games every time with our little shirts on. And it was less about the shirts, but more about us going to the game, having fun. We tailgated. And then, one day at the game, somebody was like, hey, where'd you get that shirt? You should have seen my face, boy. I was lit up like, huh? You talking to me? So I was like, we made it. And so after that, I was like, I looked at my baby girl. I think we owned or something. And so we started showing up at every game, with different shirts on.
Okay.
Every game. And so, soon, it was 3 or 4 people per game asking us, where'd you get that shirt? And so I said, okay, Now I got to invest in a website. Now I got to invest in a graphic designer. Ain't no more me, sitting at the kitchen table trying to sketch it out.
Right.
So I put together a team, and that was the other thing. I had to realize what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. Because just because you have the vision, that don't mean, you're good at everything. And so I had to figure out how to delegate,
Bro, that's, like you said, that's an issue with most business owners, because when you have your own business, you have how you want to run it, you have your standards, you have your vision, and you're scared to let go of certain things because you feel like the next person's not going to have the same dedication or quality as you do. So how did you let go of that and make it easy to just delegate that as a duty?
Great point, because you're right. A lot of entrepreneurs, and I've worked for a lot of small business entrepreneurs where they just get in their own way, and so I was, trying to figure something out. I was trying to teach myself Photoshop, and there was just this girl who did graphics for us, who worked for the company I was working for. Mm-hmm. And I had been working on this shirt design probably for like 4 or 5 days, almost a week.
Okay.
And came in my office. She was like, "Ross, what are you doing?" And I told her what I was trying to do. And she turned around, and in 10 minutes, she turned that thing around and did exactly what I was trying to do. I mean, listen to me. 5 days. She did it in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So I bought her lunch. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I got some Chick-fil-A for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw that, the light bulb just hit me. It's just like, I don't do that. That's not in my toolbox. That tool is not in my toolbox. And so slowly but surely, I ain't gonna lie, it was a process. It definitely was a process. But I knew that the vision for Five Stripes merch, I knew that I had the vision and that it was up to me to lead my team. And so, slowly but surely, I found somebody else to help me with graphics. Mm-hmm. I had to go to the lawyer. I had to get my paperwork typed. Because in my mind, I was like, man, these folks ain't like this. And I wanted to make sure that Atlanta United or whoever would try and come and take it from me. So I hired a lawyer on top of the lawyer, to make sure that everything was kosher. But we started doing that. I put a site together, had to get a website built. I mean, it was a process. It was nothing that came overnight. It was not easy, but it was fun. And that's one thing that I try to remind myself is to have fun along the way.
Right.
And something that I had to learn, this whole time, I thought I was working on my business. But I wasn't working on my business. I was working on myself.
Woo.
And to evolving to be the person I have to be in order to become successful. To put a pin in there, I'm going to let that one sit right there just for a hot second.
Let it sit. Let that breathe.
I thought I was working on my business, but I wasn't. I was working on myself.
Amen.
Man, it's a journey, man. But all along the way, man, I've grown. I've been learning. And that's another thing. Like I remember for a period in my life, I thought I knew everything. I ain't need to grow. And growth is something that's always there. You're always learning. And so that was a huge lesson for me. So we are 2 years old, going on 2 years old now. So it's been 2 years of building and and evolving and trying and failing and getting up and trying again. So and a lot of people will have you believe, man, when you look at social media, like, oh, it's just gonna pop off. Nah, it's not how it works. Because truthfully, I just figured since there's not a lot of offerings in the market, that people would just flock to me and just buy my shirts. I feel that, I thought that if you build it, they'll come. It don't work.
That don't work that way, right?
It don't work like that, partner. It does not work like that. If it did, everybody would be doing it.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody would be doing it.
So what kind of inventive ways can you get? I mean, think about it. What separates what you're doing with, I guess, the next man who's out at the games, out in the parking lot or whatever, like, hey man, I got these shirts. You know what I mean?
Right. So I think for me, especially being in marketing for so long and then working for a word of mouth marketing agency,
yeah.
I had so many tricks in my bag.
Okay.
And so for me, it has never been about money. It has never been about money. And it's never been about money. It can't be about money.
Bro, that's crazy what you're saying. Again, he's dropping on you again. Again, that's another one.
Man, I read an article. Quincy Jones said, when you do stuff for money, God walks out of the room. Quincy Jones.
Y'all gotta let that sink in too. Y'all gotta let that sink in there too.
When you do something for money, God walks out of the room. And I learned that. And during this process, I've had to learn, like my purpose, like why am I doing this? And, my purpose, I want to inspire other entrepreneurs. That's what I want to be able to do. Because I didn't know what I was doing the whole time. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur when A Short and I started throwing parties. I just wanted to do something fun. I just wanted to kick it.
Right.
With my friends and my people. And so in doing this, I had to kind of figure out, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Purpose. And purpose.
Yeah.
What is your North Star? Everybody has a North Star. You got to figure out what that North Star is. Because as you know, when it gets hard, when you want to quit and give up, it's your North Star that keeps you at that table at night, that keeps you up working. You want to go to sleep and go watch Netflix with everybody else.
Hey man, you're speaking to me, brother. You are speaking to you. Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Bro,
North Star, brother.
Tell us where we can get the 5 Stripes merch and where you can be found on all of your social medias, etc., website, etc.
On Instagram at 5 Stripes merch. Facebook, FIVESTRIPES, and Twitter at 5 Stripes merch.
5 Stripes merch, okay.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Development. Or website.
No. The 5stripesmerch.com.
There you go.
Yeah, we just dropped some. We just did a new merch drop. So yeah, we've got some fresh new merch. And what I wanted to do, and one of the to answer your question, one of the things that sets me apart, I didn't want to just create merch and just put a logo on it. And that's what Atlanta United has. Their stuff is just a logo slapped on a shirt.
Right.
I felt like you can't tell the story of Atlanta United without telling the story of Atlanta.
Right.
Feel me?
Right.
Feel me?
Right.
A lot of people skip over that and want to go right to the rah. No, hold on. Atlanta United is a part of the history, and it has a place in Atlanta's history. So you have to talk about Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so our merch has a story. And, when I looked at Atlanta United merch, Adidas has all of the merchandising rights to MLS. Adidas. They're making this over in Germany, China, wherever they make it. Nothing is made local.
Nothing made in Atlanta.
Nothing is made in Atlanta. Nothing speaks to Atlanta, to the culture. When I looked at it, I was like, Atlanta's the home of Outkast, 2 Chainz. I mean, you got all these personalities, and the merch looked like that. I was like, man, the fans deserve better. And so even, I've got a soccer team out at TISA, the youth soccer organization that we sponsor. And, and just to set ourselves apart, one of the things that we do, we bring in tutors to tutor the kids on Saturdays. Because if you don't get your lesson, that's what my pops tell me, you don't get your lesson, you ain't playing no sports.
Right.
And so we wanted to reinforce those values with those young men and those young ladies. And so, we do tutors, we do things like that. So it's not just your typical, we're going to give y'all some money, can y'all wear our shirts, can I put my logo on your thing? That's not what we're about. Because, again, it ain't about money.
Right.
So yeah, man, that's a little bit about my story, man. FiveStripesMerch.com, man, that's what we are. We're doing our thing, man, and we having fun. I'm still having fun. I don't have the braces, I ain't got the high right, low left no more, but, but we still having fun.
Still Ross.
Yes, sir. Ain't no question, man, no question.
and I believe when I talk to you a year from now, it's next level. I can hear the path and I can hear the direction and I know where you're going, bro. So I'll impart that with good words because words have power, but you going next level. You know what I mean? Hopefully you don't forget us folks, down here at the bottom. But
hey, you got stories about me. I ain't gonna forget about you. I always got you, dog.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro. You're welcome anytime. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do whatever, hey, man, we put your merch on our sites, our social media, this radio. This is a 24/7 radio station, bro. So I got 30 shows that play on here. We play music in the middle of the night, morning, whatever. So, hey, man.
Oh, man, that's what's up, man. And you know what, man? There's a lot of other brothers, man, doing some amazing, incredible things, man. So I would love to definitely put you in touch with them, man, because Atlanta, man, Atlanta's for dreamers, man. There's a lot of folks out here dreaming, just like you and me, man.
Yes.
And I love what you're doing, putting a spotlight on those dreamers, man, those other people, man.
Yes.
But absolutely, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. This is awesome, man. And go United.
Yes, sir. Go United. Go United.
Go United. Yes, sir.
All right, brother. I appreciate you spending your time and imparting all that good knowledge on us.
Okay, brother, man.
And I definitely I'll be in touch.
Man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.